the simple answer to that is that there's not much difference at all. Now, the creators of both types of therapy will tell you that there is a difference, but do not be fooled. In terms of, cognitive evaluation and thought diffusion. So we've got, the battle of CBT versus ACT. What's the big difference there? I mean, they're both trying to reappraise our cognitions. They're both trying to change the way that we're automatically thinking about things, seeing things, and it's just the I guess the language they use that's different. ACT is like it's all very when we're not trying to control. That's what CBT is all about. It's all about control. ACT is all about acceptance, right? Which seems to be the antithesis of control. But really, I mean, good CBT or good cognitive therapy really isn't about control either. I mean, it's about trying to help us to reappraise that which is automatic. So if I have this automatic thought saying, that says I'm going to this anxiety that I'm feeling is going to kill me, or this anxiety that I'm feeling is going to be with me forever. I'm never going to be able to escape this high level of anxiety I'm feeling right now. Okay, so you can go through cognitive therapy, CBT techniques like cognitive evaluation, thought evaluation, and you can, write out the automatic thought if you want. You can, weigh up the evidence for that thought or the evidence against that thought. You want to do both, and ideally you want the evidence that you gather in the against column to contradict the key points in the for column. And at the end of that process, you can generate a nice, balanced automatic thought, or balanced thought that you can try to remind yourself of. And ideally, at the end of that process, you can breathe a bit easier. The very stilts on which the automatic thought, the initial automatic thought was standing on, have kind of been knocked out under that automatic thought, been knocked away by the generating of the contradictory evidence in the evidence against column. But the point is, we are now, we have different appraisal of the anxiety. We're not fighting with it, we're not struggling with it as much as we were initially. It's now seen as, okay, maybe this thing's okay, it's not going to kill me, right? It's not going to be with me forever. I'm not always feeling this thing. It's not completely out of control. So we've effectively, stopped struggling with this automatic thought. Not because we tried to control it, which is what maybe ACT clinicians would tell you we're doing in CBT, but because we have evaluated that thought a bit more, and now we're seeing it in like this different light. We've reappraised it. We don't need to struggle with it anymore. We've kind of convinced ourselves it's no longer a threat. I don't really need to keep paying so much attention to it, monitoring that threat with my attention. Does that sound so different to what ACT is doing, to what diffusion is doing? I mean, all diffusion is doing is really getting us to stop struggling with that thought, to help us to kind of reappraise the need to struggle against my automatic or my primary emotions, anxiety in this case. So I have this story, this script, this narrative running through my mind. It's the doom and gloom story. It's the story that says this anxiety is going to kill me, this anxiety is never going to leave me. And what might ACT suggest? Okay, well, I can see those thoughts for just exactly what they are. Just thoughts. Not truths, not facts, just thoughts, just noise. And all of a sudden, okay, I'm starting to be more mindful of what this process is. It's just a thought process. And thoughts are not facts. Okay, I'm already kind of starting to reappraise this automatic thought. It's not holding as much weight anymore. I can kind of get a little bit of healthy space from it. And then we can, try to reappraise it by, saying, I see you thought, or I see you story in my mind. Thank you, I'm not tuning into you today. I don't need to tune into you right now. I know that you're just a thought or you're just a story. I'm reappraising it as this, emergency news headline, breaking news that I need to listen to and I need to fuse with, or whatever the metaphor you want to use. And I'm saying, no, it's just background noise. There's a radio station with just, nothing really much to listen to going on. But again, the point is, I've just reappraised that thing from being something important or dire, or a thought that is the harbinger of some serious threat that I need to continue paying attention to. And now I see it as something that I don't really need to pay attention to. They've both done the same thing. And it's helpful to know what they have in common. Because if they have something in common, and both seem to be helpful, both seem to work, well, what is the thing they have in common? Maybe that's the most important thing that we should really be trying to focus on when we're doing our work. Well, reappraising. How can we effectively reappraise that automatic thought that comes up? Or that story that comes up in our mind, whatever. How can we reappraise it? I think the other important kind of shared concept that comes out of this, in addition to the reappraisal one, is the attention. You would have noticed that both times I talked about what am I paying my attention to. When I reappraise something as no longer being a threat, no longer waving that red flag saying, look at me, I'm a threat, pay attention to me. I don't pay attention to it anymore. It's no longer a threat. I can take my attention and put it back on, in ACT terms, some more meaningful, engaging activity. But to be honest, a CBT clinician will probably say the same thing. Turn your attention back to some more meaningful activity. Engage in life. So, attention seems to be important. And reappraisal helps us to change where we automatically put our attention. I was waiting so long to drink that coffee.